The yoga master that I apprenticed with for almost 20 years said 5 words to me once that really shifted my path as a teacher. It's Monday with Maty, where I talk about the things she taught me so that they're not forgotten. About 12 years after Maty started mentoring me, I met up with her in India to teach a 2-week-long Ashtanga workshop series. In that style of yoga, practitioners memorize choreographed sequences, and this workshop was meant for people who'd already memorized it. But about 10 people showed up that didn't know it at all, so Maty broke them off from the main group and assigned them to me to get them up to speed. This was the first time in all my years of assisting her that she had me teach separately from her. So as the students rearranged their mats and my group found its corner, I huddled with her to find out what I should do. When we introduce people to Ashtanga yoga, we tend to start with what's called the sun salutation. So those are 2 sequences that have 9 and 17 poses each, and they're kind of complicated, and usually they're taught one-on-one. So I suggested to Maty that I start by teaching the group the sun salutations. And she said, absolutely not. And I said, what the fuck? Oops. And then she said the 5 words. She said, teach independence from the beginning. This is something that was so different about Maty from other teachers that I encountered. There was this intentional avoidance of codependence. Instead, she really strove to teach her students independence. I mean, we obviously have to guide people more when they're just starting to learn, but we do it from the very beginning with the understanding that as soon as they can guide themselves on their own, they will. It's kind of like when you're teaching somebody to ride a bike, you run alongside and hold them up just until you feel them take over and let go. Then you get to stand there and watch them go. That, since that day, is what I try to be as a teacher. But on that day, I'd already been her student for a long time, and there was another moment on that trip that really, for me, encapsulates the power and confidence that you can give a person if you teach them this independence from the very beginning, like she had at this point done with me for many years. I'd been teaching a lot of teacher training courses on my own for a few years at this point and was really into the connection between the musculoskeletal body and yoga philosophy. And a lot of the students wanted to learn more about that from me. So Maty and I decided that I would do a few presentations after dinner. When I was preparing to make this video, I found the notes that I made for the presentation and I hadn't looked at them since then. And while they just make me so happy because they bring me back to that moment where I was standing on the veranda, living my life, doing my thing, and looking out at all these happy, sunburned, just did yoga and ate a good meal faces, and one of them was Maty smiling at me. I mention this moment because I can see from the notes that I was really flying on my own, teaching the things I teach and the way I teach, and it was really different from Maty, but it came from the foundation that she taught. And she understood that, and she supported my growth beyond her curriculum. Instead of being nervous that I was teaching in front of the one person whose opinion I cared about most, it was a happy moment for me, and that was all because of her. Now that, to me, is a teacher. The state of power and grace that I found myself in teaching those evenings in front of her was because of the practice she taught me and how she taught it to me. She taught independence from the beginning. You know, it's hard for me to make these pieces because Maty's gone now and it brings a lot of stuff up. And you know, I get sad when I have a question and I want to ask her and I can't. But here's the thing. When I get on my yoga mat, the practice that I do that she taught me, it answers almost all the questions. And I know that that's what she would have wanted, and I'm really glad that that's what I have. She gave me and all of her students a tool that they could use for life, not something that they could only access if a teacher was present. She taught independence from the beginning. Thank you, Maty. See you all next Monday.